I'm Mike Rivers. You probably know me from posting on the forum about this, that, and the other thing. And thought I'd point out a few things that I thought were pretty cool at the NAMM show. One of the things that I noticed here is there's a fair amount of old is new again. I'm seeing a couple of products that I remember seeing and using 20 years ago, and they disappeared, and now they're here again. One of them was the original product was the Aphex Studio Clock, and now there's a gadget that's called the ADIG, or ADIG, Human Synchronizer. And what this does is you play into it or sing into it, and it generates MIDI clock so that your DAW or your sequencer program will follow you along. No more playing to a click track. You can be the click track. A lot of new portable handheld recorders, and the trend this year, with the exception of a couple, seems to be making them smaller and smaller. So small that you could barely handle them, but with loads and loads of battery life. ESI had one with 20 hours of battery life. I think that's pretty neat. Tascam has one. It's normal handheld size, the DR2D. Its trick is that it's a stereo recorder, but it actually records 4 channels. The 2 channels that you want to record, and the same 2 channels that are recorded at a lower level. So that in case you have a surprise, the level goes way up, or somebody shouts into a microphone, and you would have clipping on your main channels, you've got a couple more channels that you can splice in. It's not automatic, you have to do that on your editing program, but it's there in case you need it. Tascam also has a new multi-track portable recorder. This one is sort of small book-sized, and it's 6 channels, so you can do surround with it. An interesting concept is a new loudspeaker from Eminence, which has what they call flux density modulation. And what it does is this big knob on the back of the speaker that screws the magnet in and out, and it changes the sensitivity of the speaker so that you can reduce the volume right at the speaker, crank your amplifier up higher, and without getting too loud, assuming that you don't blow the voice cord with the speaker. We don't talk about that much. A new guitar wireless system from Brace, the DWG-1000, is the most interesting part. Cost $150 for a pair, receiver, transmitter. Works in the 2.4 gigahertz band. It's your basic Bluetooth-oriented kind of technology. Got about 100-foot range for most environments. And the guy who built it has designed some equipment for audio, for Line 6. He's a good analog designer, and his point is that he's got a really good analog front end and a really good analog back end. The digital part's pretty easy. The wireless part is pretty easy. So it has really high quality, and it's only $150. Diffusion Audio, it's a French company, nobody's ever heard of them before. Has a hardware box that's a speaker cabinet and mic placement simulator. It's kind of like the back end for your amplifier simulator front end. It's all hardware, it looks nice, it's expensive, but it isn't quite like anything that anybody else makes. There were a lot of pedal boards and pedal managers at the show, of which I thought the most complete one, best thought out, most complicated, and most expensive was the Gig Rig. It's been around in Europe for a couple of years. This is their first show at NAMM, and it provides huge amount of flexibility in making multiple chains of the same pedals and accessing them with a single or 1 or 2 foot switch buttons. Very programmable. The Korg SOS looks like a handheld recorder, and actually is one. It's got a pair of stereo mics on it, but it's really intended to be like a musician's workstation. It allows you to do unlimited overdubs, sound on sound kind of overdubs. It's not multiple inputs, but you can put as many tracks on it as you've got disk space for. It has built-in rhythm patterns, built-in effects, guitar input, as well as a mic input. I was just at the CES last weekend, and I saw about 2,000 iPod applications without ever looking for them. But one interesting one that I saw here was from Akai. They have a synthesizer application, which kind of works like an analog synthesizer. So the application itself will run standalone if you like to play little keys on the iPod, but they have a companion keyboard and controller that goes along with it. You slide the iPod into it, and then you can play on keys. And it sounds really good. And now for the part that's almost worth waiting for, the sex toys section of our report. The Tone Right is a little gadget that you can put on the bridge of a fiddle, or you can put on the top of a guitar, and you plug it in and it vibrates. And the idea here is that you can simulate some playing time on a new instrument and get it broken in. You know, back in my day, we used to put our guitars on a stand up in front of our stereo speakers, turn it up as loud as we could, then leave. Another one is the Vibrass, and this one, you stick a brass mouthpiece into it, and you put it up to your lips and move it around and massages your lips, and it's supposed to make you play better. This is a companion to the vibrating metronome that we saw back in the summer NAMM, which you put in your pocket and you can feel the beat. And that's about what I've seen that's cool so far. It's only about 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, so I still have a few more hours to go, a few more places to go. So we'll see online, and anything that comes up, we'll let you know about.